Hello, hello, hello. Who's on tonight? Who is on here tonight? Let's see who's on. Let's see who's on. Let's see who's on. Hey, 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 Jermaine. How's it going? How's it going? Just seeing who comes in tonight. We're going to have a good discussion. How are you doing in these Corona streets? It's gonna be interesting. We don't know how this is gonna go, but one way or another, we're gonna get through this. Just see you doing good. Good to know. I see you hustling at the gym, trying to get in your last few minutes before they close. You guys are all shut down, right? I would imagine so. Let's see if anybody else joins us. It might just be me and you tonight, but we'll see. Hey, Terry! Hey! How's it going? Just talking here tonight. Tonight we're going to be talking about getting through this Corona crisis with our community. Hoping that you are well. Let me turn this music off and turn my sound down. So how's it going, guys? It is really, really weird. This coronavirus, COVID-19, it's everywhere, everywhere you look. And a lot of people that I'm talking to are talking about increased anxiety, increased depression, wanting to just crawl into a hole for days. Wake me up when this is over. Who knows when this is going to be over, man. Kids are only supposed to be out of school for 1 week. Then now it's 3 weeks, and I'm hearing all kinds of rumors about what's going on for the rest of the school year. Who knows? These kids are going to drive me crazy. It's hard. It's hard keeping your wits about you. There's news everywhere. And I thought I would just come on here and talk about how community can get you through a whole bunch of stuff. I have some notes here that I want to take a look at because I don't want to leave anything out. But I'm not sure if anyone here is familiar with living through a hurricane. I know I have. I am from it is like a zombie movie, right? Without the zombies, thank God, just walking down the street or just, driving through regular places. The subway is like a ghost town. I'm seeing pictures of Union Station, no one anywhere. And I know people still are going into work, but a lot of people have the opportunity to work from home. People are being let go from work. I know some people still have to go into work and face the public. I have the opportunity to see some of my clients, or most of my clients, online. A lot of my clients have decided to just write it out and wait until this is over because they prefer a person-to-person connection. That's fine. But it just means that a lot of people are losing money. People are being let go. People are, their jobs are being put on hold. Businesses are closing. Hey, how's it going, Michelle and Rob? Just talking here about getting through this Corona stuff. It's hard. People are losing money. Daycare providers have to close. I'm not sure how it's impacting you, Michelle. Hey, Renee. Restaurants are closing down. I have a really good friend who runs a really amazing barber shop, men's grooming establishment, and he's had to close. His workers have gone home because there's no money coming in, and not just because no business is coming in, but we have to make sure that we're healthy. Anyway, I could go on and on about how, people's lives are changing today because of that, but I wanted to just talk a little bit about how you can get through this in community and just give some examples. So I grew up in Jamaica, for those of you who didn't know. Hello, accent. And when I was young, in 1988, there was a Category 5 hurricane that swept through the island, Hurricane Gilbert. And it just devastated, decimated the country, put everything on lockdown, everything on standstill for months. And we got through it. And we got through it through community, right? And I know that we're all being asked to live at home. Well, not live at home, but stay at home, stay indoors. What's it called? Social distancing. That's it. Social distancing. We can't go anywhere. No seats at Tim Hortons, no seats at Starbucks. All the restaurants are drive-through, takeout, or pickup only. Movies are being shut down. So you can't really congregate. You can't really connect with your friends. So how are we going to create that community? Well, I wanted to just talk a little bit about my experience. When I was a little girl, this hurricane came through like the day after my birthday. Hi, Mary. I'm not going to tell you how old I was because then you're going to know how old I am. It's not a huge secret, but whatever. The hurricane came through a day after my birthday, and I remember thinking to myself that it felt like we were all going to die. I didn't know what a hurricane was, and my birthday was very low-key. We didn't have much means at the time, but it was low-key because everyone in the island was anticipating this huge storm. It was on the news, it was on the weather, everybody was talking about it. And to be honest with you, I can't remember exactly what people were saying, but I remember the feeling of panic, the feeling of anxiety. What's gonna happen? And I can tell you that I went to my bed that night. I remember actually before I went to bed, I said to my mom, what if we die? Right? That was my little frame of reference. And so what I will ask you about tonight, I don't know if you guys have, some of you have smaller kids, some of you have older kids, but what I will ask you, the first thing I'll leave with you is, how do you think your attitude around this is impacting the younger lives around you? Do you have children? Do you have nieces and nephews? Do you have mentors? Do you have goddaughters, godsons? How is this impacting the lives of the children around you? Because your attitude and your take on this is going to help them figure this out. If you are anxious, if you're depressed, if you're in panic, newsflash, so will they. They are going to feel it to their core. So I implore you, whatever you do, if you need to pray in the closet, if you need to do some yoga, if you need to take some deep breaths, go for a walk, do what you can and center yourself so that the children around you do not feel the sense of dread. Because believe it or not, children are talking about it. Before March break, my children are 5 and 8. I can't believe I just said that. They're growing so fast. But anyway, my kids were coming home talking to me about corona flu and what it meant and who's going to get sick and will I get sick if this happens and will I get sick if that happens. And so we had to have a conversation with them around what it was going to mean. And even now they're like, so why can't we do this? Or why can't we go here? And why can't we go there? And the answer is, we have to stay healthy. Well, does that mean it's going to hurt us? So you really have to be careful about the message that we're sending to the children around us. And that means you have to take care of you, right? You have to, again, the deep breathing, the walks, the prayer, the phone a friend, whatever it is that you need to do to try to hold it together so that they can hold it together. Essentially, we're holding it together for them. So next point. Okay, so that hurricane I mentioned before, I think it was a Category 5 hurricane, right? It swept through and it did awful things, right? I remember in the midst of the hurricane when we lost power. I remember when we lost our telephone connection. I remember we had no running water. It was just horrible. And, I come from a people who take things in stride. Jamaican people don't really take things too seriously, but it was a rough time, right? It got to the point where a few months in, having a cold drink was a luxury. Having a drink with ice, man, that was like the biggest gift you could give to anyone, right? It was hard. But as much as we lost, there were things that I gained. I learned about humanity. I learned about practical things like we didn't have electrical stoves and ovens, and we used propane. But when the propane tank was finished, we had to cook outside on a coal stove with a fire. So, and I lived in the city, so there wasn't a lot of country living, but we were cooking outside and having meals that way. And so I learned about that. I learned about living off the land, sharing meals, right, Renee? Um, I learned about making a bottle torch. So putting kerosene oil in a bottle, like a wine bottle or something like that, like halfway, and then stuffing like a rag or a towel in the mouth of the bottle, turning the bottle upside down so that rag could get soaked, and then lighting that rag or newspaper or whatever it was. And that was our light when we were outside. And we were outside talking with our neighbors till wee hours in the morning. That was probably the first time that I laughed until tears came to my eyes. I mean, we had good conversation. We learned how to make board games from a cardboard box. Like, we just became so what's the word I'm looking for? Inventive, right? They say necessity is a mother of invention. And so the next thing that I would ask you is, what is this time gifting you? As much as it's taking away. People are losing their income. People are losing childcare. Our kids aren't in school. But and we're losing peace of mind, to be honest. This is so uncertain. We don't know what's going to happen. Markets are crashing. Borders are closing. People are away on their honeymoon, quickly coming back. People can't go on their honeymoon, can't plan their weddings. But in the midst of all of that, what is this time gifting you? And I would implore you to really think about that. I know for me, I'm spending more time at home now just because I can't go out to work. My husband is also having the opportunity to work from home. The kids are not in school. So that means I'm playing more board games with them. It means more home cooked meals. It means sitting with them over schoolwork. And not that I didn't do that before, but now I'm just having more time. I found that I was always jet setting from one place to the next. Mommy's doing this, mommy's doing that. Pick up the kids here, drop them off there, extracurriculars, this, that, and the other. Just always doing that thing, right? But now we're taking the time. Now we're spending more time with them. We're spending more time with each other. We're becoming more connected. And I am, right, getting your time to do more personal things. Hey, Carly, we're just talking about how to get through this corona crisis with our community. And so, yeah, Carly, I was just saying, how are we, what are we doing with the things that this is gifting us with? Yes, coronavirus crisis is taking things away from us, but it's also gifting us things. I know for you, Carly, you were saying today that your husband's working from home. For some of us, that can be a challenge, but it also means that he's in the house with you at a time when he normally isn't. So you have him at home. You guys can have lunch together, which you couldn't do before. I know this morning I woke up and I made a big breakfast for the whole family. It was really cool, right? So I would encourage us all to think about what this time is giving us, rather, as well as we're thinking about what it's taking away, but not to lose out on what it's giving us. The other thing is I remember the feeling of community that also gave to me. At the time, I remember during that hurricane season, just before, just as the winds had started to pick up, our family didn't have a car, but there was a family across the street from us who had a car. And it was so strange that the house we were living in at the time, it had like a carport, kind of like a garage, a sheltered area for a vehicle, though we didn't have a vehicle. And the house across the street from us, that family had a vehicle, but they didn't have any shelter for their car. And I remember that mom banging on our door and saying to my mom, can we park our car here? Because we don't want anything happen to it. And so she did. And I remember asking my mom about that, and she said to me, we have to take care of each other. And that has stuck with me for many, many years. Let's see. So that brings me again to the fact that we're only going to get through this if we take care of each other. Thanks. It's a cool story. But what are we going to do to take care of each other? I was recently reading on social media about, I think, Carly, I'm not sure if you were the one who shared this, about a woman who was going into her grocery store, and there was an elderly couple sitting in their car, and they kind of, connected their eye lines of sight caught each other. And so the young woman went over, and the elderly lady said to her with tears in her eyes that she's been sitting there for the longest time, very, very scared to go into the supermarket because their immune system was highly compromised, and she was praying for someone to come to offer to do their shopping. And so the young woman took their grocery list and took the money and went in and did their shopping and gave it to them. And I just thought to myself, what a great story of community. How can we take care of each other through this? Yes, we have to keep our distance physically, which kind of sucks. But, let's create community otherwise. We live in a really great age of technology. I mean, look at what we're able to do right now. I am on a couple group chats on WhatsApp. We support each other. We, complain about taking care of our children. We think about what are we going to do about work. We talk about our husbands. Yes, we do. And we laugh and we support each other. We lift each other up spiritually, and we figure it out together, which is what I implore all of you to do, which is what I implore all of us to do. We have got to take care of each other, regardless of what that looks like. So find a way to take care of yourself the best way you can. Take your medication if you're on medication. If you live alone and you have no schedule, make a schedule for yourself. Get up, get dressed, make the bed, have something to eat, go for a walk. Because it is when you play mole in the hole, is what I call it. That's when the mental health stuff can really start to set in. That's when the depression can start to set in. That's when the anxiety can take hold. And that's when you start to feel sick yourself, right? And then you're going to start to wonder if you have coronavirus. I'm not trying to make light of it for those of you who have already contracted it. I speedy recovery to all of you. But listen, guys, we have to take care of ourselves. We have to take care of each other. Reach out to people in your community. And if you are finding yourself spiraling emotionally, mentally, reach out to somebody. Call your doctor. Call telehealth if you can get through. Call me. Book a session. This isn't about trying to get clients, right? But this is about saying, take care of yourself. I had a client call me yesterday while I was at the grocery store getting groceries. I had a client call me yesterday saying, I know I'm not supposed to call you unless I have a session, but listen, such and such is happening and I'm really worried. And I spoke to her for 5 minutes, gave her some tips, and because it can't all be about making money. Yes, I'm a clinician and this is my livelihood, this is my bread and butter, but it can't all be about that. We don't know how long this thing is going to last. And the moral of the story is, again, we got to take care of each other. Take care of ourselves, take care of each other. I'm just looking to see if I forgot anything. Let me know if anything else resonates with you. Yes, Terry, taking care of each other is key. Terry, I was actually wondering about your daughter today. I noticed that a couple of the universities are telling students that they have until Monday to pack up your crap and get out of here. I'm wondering how things are going with her and if she's home, and just how she's handling it all. So the last thing that I want to say is that, hi there, thanks for joining us. We're just talking about getting through this crisis in community. So I'll just give you my last point and then I'll recap. The last thing I wanted to say is that getting through this hurricane as a child in Jamaica, roads were blocked, trees were uprooted, people lost their roofs. There were a lot of corrugated tin or zinc roofs, as we call them in Jamaica, and some of those roofs just went flying. In our tiny island nation of 1.2 million people at the time, I think over 200 people died just from the hurricane, and more people died after that. Schools were closed for months, guys. I was out of my elementary or primary school for, I couldn't tell you how long. The end of school exams were canceled. People were out of work for months. Roads were damaged. Utility poles were down. We were out of water for months, electricity, all that stuff. But eventually, a little bit at a time, the tiny nation started to rebuild. And we counted on each other, we relied on each other, we support each other, we laughed, we cried together, and we slowly rebuilt each other. We slowly rebuilt each other and we rebuilt the country. And I used to think that was because, Jamaicans are awesome and what can I say? But it really is because of the resilience of the human nature. And we all have resilience inside of us. And it comes to the surface when we join hands, when we support each other, when we lift each other up, when we hold on. You know, we took care of each other's spirit. We made sure that everyone had enough to eat. We reached out, how are you doing? What do you want? What do you need? I'm going to the market. What can I get you? I'm doing this. How can I help? I made this dinner. I made some for you. It may not be that kind of everyone physically hold hands because we have to keep our distance and we're always washing our hands. We're cooped up in our homes. No problem. Take care, Kylie. Thanks for coming. But we are going to get through this one way or the other, no matter how long this lasts. If my beautiful developing country of my birth could do that, then what can we say for this country of Canada, this wealthy nation? What can we say for the United States? What can we say for European countries? We're all going to figure this out. We're all going to do our best to stay healthy. We're all going to do our best to keep our minds healthy. And we're all going to do our best to take care of each other. Call each other, phone a friend, get onto chats, send each other emails, send each other pictures of what you're cooking. I want to see what you guys are eating. Share tips about how to homeschool. Michelle, I'm going to need help around taking care of my kids at home. Share your expertise. Let's not, they want us to socially isolate. Let's not mentally isolate. That will be our undoing. And there's that phrase that talks about, divide and conquer. And it's possible. If we completely keep to ourselves, Corona will eat our supper, but we're not going to let that happen. We are going to take care of each other throughout all of this. Yeah, we are all more powerful together than we're apart. We're going to survive. All right, guys, unless you guys have any questions, let me just recap real quick. This is just around coming through crisis in community. I just talked about my experience of being in a hurricane as a child in Jamaica. And one of the things that I talked about was that the children around you are always listening. I remember feeling a sense of dread and panic as a child. Hey, Sharon, you jumped in just as I'm wrapping up. Thanks for coming on. I talked about the feeling of panic that I had just before the hurricane hit and thinking that I was going to die. And children are watching us. They're listening to us. Let's try to center ourselves so that the kids can feel safe and connected. Also, as much as we're losing things, we're also gaining. We're losing our jobs. We're losing income. We're losing a sense of security. But we are gaining a virtual community. People are offering free programs. People are taking the time to take care of themselves. A friend of mine online took the time to, hey, Natasha, how's it going? We're just talking about crisis in community, getting through this. One of my friends in a program that I'm on talked about how she used the day to clean her house top to bottom, and the next day she did her basement. So what are you gaining? You're gaining some free time. What can you do with that free time? I know me, I'm gaining more time with my family. I'm spending more time with the kids. I'm spending more time with my husband. We are just getting closer as a family. And also, just knowing that we're only going to get through this as a community. Let's rely on each other. Let's lean on each other. Let's text each other through the day. Phone each other. we're physically isolated, but we can't be mentally isolated, or we're not going to survive this. So take care of yourself, take care of yourself physically, go for a walk, breathe in some fresh air, meet your neighbors, even if you have to wave from across the street. I really appreciate all of you coming out. Let me know what you think. If there are other topics that you want me to cover through either from mental health perspective, or any other personal topics that you think might be helpful, let me know. I'm going to try to make this a series. These are my afterthoughts, thoughts after my day at 8 o'clock on a Wednesday. So tune in. I hope I see you guys back here at some point or another. Hopefully I will see you next Wednesday. You guys take care, hang in there, and let's stay connected. See ya. Bye.